Good morning, everybody. I forgot to take myself off mute for a second. How is everyone doing? Thank you all so much for coming and doing some writing sprints with us this morning. I'm so happy that so many people are already in the chat. If you were at my live stream on Thursday, I've hopefully found a place with more consistent Wi-Fi that we won't get interrupted this stream like we did last time, but we'll see. It's always, I'm going to start this with a disclaimer, and I'm very sorry if it happens. All right, yes, I'm very sorry if it happens. I am going to be joined by my wonderful friends, Autumn and Maddie, this morning. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I guess I'll go first. So hello, everyone. I'm Autumn Ashleigh, another authortuber in our community. I also post content on my channel about writing and documenting that fun, endless journey. But today I have some admin stuff that I need to get done. So I think we're going to work on this whole list of things that I need to get done. And hopefully, hopefully we can write or outline or do something writing related at some point in this sprint or this stream, but who knows? Only time will tell. But thank you so much for having me here, Claire. I know we talked about this backstage before we went live, but I feel so much better today. Like the last time I was here, I was going to bed. So I was so out of it, but we're good.
Well, I'm very honored you still came and sprinted with me right before going to bed.
It was so nice to see you. I just felt so bad because I'm like, I already drank my chamomile tea. I'm reading a book. We're all cozy. We are about to like shut down, but it was only like 10 o'clock in the morning and I felt so bad. But it's gonna be a good day. We're here. You have water. We're gonna be all right.
Gonna be a good.
You have absolutely nothing to feel bad about. I was like such a stress case last month getting this book finished. I was like firing up here all the time, and now I'm just like totally relaxed. And now I'm gonna be reading during this sprint, and everything is gonna be great. So,
is it the book that we were talking about yesterday?
Yeah, it's this one, Dynamic Story Creation. I am continuing to read it. I'm about probably a third of the way through, so. Yeah, I really like it. It's really interesting. I know I talked about it a little bit on Thursday, and I also talked to you about it. But it's like I learned about the guy through the YouTube recordings from the 20 Books to 50K conference in Vegas last year, and he had some really interesting ways of talking about like story and theme and why people like reading stories and what kind of emotional satisfaction people are expecting from stories and how to write stories along to meet those things. So I don't know. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's different from any other craft book I've ever read.
Awesome. Cool.
That sounds interesting. Because, yeah, I mean, you don't normally think about that. Sorry, that's my cat playing with her toy in the background. If anyone can hear that rattling. She'll probably chase that and then chase her tail for a solid 10 minutes. But like the emotional satisfaction of a book is something I feel like you don't normally... I don't know. I haven't heard anyone ever talk about that before. Mm-hmm. So what's it called? Dynamic what?
It's Dynamic Story Creation by Maxwell Alexander Drake. You can see there.
I might have to look at that.
I like it. Because like emotion is so important in a story, but like I agree. You don't, at least I haven't found like a lot of craft books that talks about that. It usually just talks about like story structure and like how to get from point A to point B, but it's not like really like a character's emotional growth that like is so important to a story that you don't like. I haven't read a craft book that like specifically hones in on that. So like to know that there are craft books out there like that, and I know like you had told me too that the author's like pretty blunt about it, and like that's what you need. Like you need like straight up honesty about how to make it work, what it is, and how important it is. So I like the bluntness.
Yeah, no, I like this book because it dives more into like the why of story instead of the how of story. Like, you know, books like Save the Cat are really into like the structure, which is super, super important. But this is also, it talks about like why people read and like they want to identify with the main character, and then they want some sort of emotional satisfaction from that main character's journey and all these different things, and like how every story tells, or like every story, if you boil it down, like Jurassic Park and Transformers at its core is a very similar story, but like what makes Jurassic Park like arguably more exciting and more like a story that lasts with you than Transformers was. And it's like talking about theme and like how all of the characters can serve the theme and what's the main moral lesson that the characters learn over the course of the story and like things like that, which I think is really cool because those things like kind of go in hand with story structure.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. I love it.
That sounds really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like I should know that because like I watch so many movies and I'm very analytical when it comes to movies. So I can pinpoint those things in like movies, but not so much in books. I don't know why. Like where the difference.
Movies and books are like, I mean, they're all stories. And I think movies are a lot easier to analyze when you're learning how to create stories because they're like a little bit shorter or like not shorter, but they're more condensed.
Wow,
so
like Lord of the Rings. And then we've got a lot.
Well, and I think the visual effect too, like of actually watching a movie, you can see it like with your own eyes, even though like when you read a book sometimes and they're so good, you can basically see the scenes like unfold like you're watching a movie. But I think like with a movie too is you actually have like the visual effect of it. And I think that helps you connect in our mind as to like what certain things, you know, connect or like the emotion, because like in a book you have to describe the emotions, but like in a movie, you can just like a character or like an actor can like roll their eyeballs and then you know how they're feeling about a certain situation. But in a book, you have to describe it.
Yeah. That's what I think always throws me off is like, because I started off really writing screenplays. And so it's like in screenplays, you don't have to have that much description. So when I write, I'm like, I don't know how to do description very well because I'm like, I'm so used to not having to describe anything in great detail. But hello, dear. Yes. Good morning.
Maddie, what are you going to be working on this morning?
Salem, by the way, if anyone has not met her before. I'm going to be working on the first book in Project Duo. Do not bite me, though, because that's not nice. And I think I'm slowly getting to the halfway mark. I was getting really afraid there for a second because I thought I was like really rushing things. And then in my mind, I'm thinking of like my layout and what all I have left to cover in this book. And I'm like, no, there's still a lot to go. We're not. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a word count goal or chapter goal today. I'm just going to write and see where I land.
Nice.
Awesome. Very cool. Everybody who is watching, what are you going to be working on today? I know we have a lot of people who are already here. Hi, Micah. Thanks so much for coming. Hi, Nathania. Also, thank you so much for coming. Hi, Ivory Roses. I woke up at 8 a.m. for this. Oh, I am so honored.
Dedication.
Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Hi, Haley. Thanks so much for stopping by. Hi, Kendra. Oh, so many familiar faces today. This is so exciting. Oh, good evening in my place. Nice. Yeah, it's pretty early. It's 8 a.m. for me too. So we're all over the place this morning in the time zones. Hi, Ivory Roses. Hi. Oh, I'm so happy so many people are here.
Awesome.
Hi, media attorney. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, we have a love fest going on in the comments today.
It's a group hug.
Exactly. Hi, Bree. Oh, thanks so much for stopping in.
Hello. Gorgeous. How are you?
Bree says, I'll actually just be cleaning while listening to you guys. Writing will be later. Very nice. Cleaning is very productive. I am always really bad at staying on top of cleaning. So I really admire the fact that you're doing that. Oh, it's 7 a.m. for media attorney. Nice. Yeah, it's early. I usually do these at 10, but I had a bit of I now feel for you all who wake up early to come to these sprints. Kendra said, I'm working on the second book in my middle grade duo. Very cool.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, how are we feeling about starting our first sprint?
Let's do it.
Good.
All right. Do we want to do 15 minutes just to warm up and then we can do longer ones later?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great.
Right. That's great.
Awesome. I will share my screen. Cool. All right. Happy writing, everybody. Happy productivity. We will see you in 15 minutes after our first sprint. All right.
I love it.
It brings me so much joy.
It really is the best.
How is that spring for you both?
Great. So I'm currently trying to edit a video, and I'm making progress. It just always takes me so long to edit these darn videos. So I'm literally just sitting here like cutting breaths and ums and buts and ands. So it's not the most thrilling thing, but I'm trying to get it done.
Editing videos is so hard. I do really enjoy it, but like I'm getting back onto the YouTube train now that my book is done. I got really bad at keeping up with videos while trying to finish the book just because it takes so long. Like every video is like hours and hours. And I don't know if people like realize that until they start making videos. Like I didn't realize how long YouTube videos take until I started actually trying to edit mine together.
Yes, I know. I can film have 45 minutes of like me just talking, and then it takes me like 6 hours to edit it, which that's just me because like it takes me so long. But then it's like an 11-minute video. And I'm like, oh my God, and that doesn't even include the thumbnail. But like I love doing that because it's so fun to create videos and to kind of put your own little, spark into it. So it's a really nice, refreshing way. If I don't want to write, it's another way to express my creativity, which I love. I just don't love that it takes so darn long to do it.
I know. And then like I'll post videos or have them be almost done. And then I'll realize that because when I'm filming, I will always say things like I'll start a sentence, and if I stutter, I will stop and I'll start it again. So I have a lot of takes in my YouTube videos that are like, and now we're going to talk about, okay, all right, let's fix my hair. And now we're going to talk about, so like if I forget to cut those out, they look really silly.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Editing is actually, I think, my favorite part. But I've also been like into the whole like editing things and like making videos since I was, I think, in 9th grade, I want to say. I was something like that. I don't know. My dad ended up, because he noticed I was like taking up all the space on my HP or whatever that old computer was, because I was just making all these videos and then I would sit and edit them for hours. My dad actually went out and he took me to buy the Mac that I actually still have that I'm using right now, because Macs have more space and are better for video editing. So he went out and bought me this computer because I would not stop taking up all the storage on my other computer because I was just editing videos all day. So I love it. I have fun with it.
Yeah, I used to make like the iMovie. Did you ever make the iMovie trailers, like back when you had like the iMovie app on the iPad and like you would like film all the little clips, like the action trailers, and you'd like be running and then cut to something else? I made those all the time. I have so many of those now.
All the time. And I would make them for literally everything. Like my best friend and I went apple picking and I made a movie trailer for that. Like
I know my best friend and I were in the parking lot after dinner, like when we were like 12, and our parents were just chatting before getting in the car, and we were like running down the sidewalk and like falling into the road, like all sorts of dramatic stuff.
I know.
I used to remake scenes from movies and like YouTube videos that I loved. Like I remember dressing up in like a Dracula costume and like remaking Master of the House from Les Mis with my best friend and filming it, just like lip syncing. Or like, did you ever watch the How It Should Have Ended for the Hunger Games? We remade the entire How It Should Have Ended, and we dressed up as every single character. And like for the section where like Katniss and Peeta are on fire on the chariots, we stuck yellow sticky notes all over our bodies, and we were like, we're burning! It's so stupid.
I'm so sad I lost this video, but I have my little sister and my cousin and we made a music video for Michael Jackson's Bad.
Oh my God.
And it was the funniest thing I think we've ever made in our lives. Like it was really, really funny. And I've lost it over the years. but I still remember like bits and pieces of it. Like we would act out like every single lyric. So for the line when Michael Jackson says, "Your talk is cheap, you're not a man." Basically, I took a pillow. I had a really big shirt, and I took the pillow, I stuffed it up the shirt, and I walked up to my cousin, all like macho, and he looks at me for a second, and then he just grabs the pillow that's clearly sticking out of the shirt and just yanks it. But it was just like little things like that. We used to make those all the time. And there's a picture my grandma has of my cousin holding a camera, me with like a little fedora and a leather jacket, like all dressed up, and then my little sister in her little costume. And it was like, the early days of
Such good memories.
the early days of my career.
Do you remember when like the Harlem Shake was like a really big thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I made a video for like the Harlem Shake, but I used my stuffed animals. So it was like a frame by frame. So I would like take the picture, move them slightly, take another picture, and then move it. And then I like put it all together with the Harlem Shake, and they were like shaking.
That's actually really clever.
Yeah, I used to like it's like the little claymation, like the stop
Yes,
motion.
that's what it is.
I loved
stop
doing that. It took
motion.
so long, but I loved it. I used to make I used to have this app like in college. I used to do this all the time, just when whenever I got bored. It was like an app, and I could make like 30-second stop motion videos. And like you could like take as long as you just found a place to keep the camera steady, you could just move stuff around it, and it would just like edit it all together. You just like hit done at the end, and it would like put it into a little movie.
Oh my
So
God.
I have all these like little weird stop motion videos of desk ornaments and like the USB thing chugging around the desk. Like my
love
USB was like in a relationship with like my like SD card reader. Like it was just crazy.
I love that. That sounds like it would be a great soap opera. I would watch.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, everybody who's watching, how is that sprint for you? Kooky Mario Kiwi said, "I'm thinking about writing a horror book about a serial killer who mainly kills with an axe. He does this because he killed his father with an axe because his mother committed suicide because he cheated." Well, that sounds really scary.
It's definitely. Yeah, I love it's like it's talking about a story, and my mind is like, let me like profile this person. I'm just gonna go through and think of all the things in his life that like the moments he like could have snapped before. And yeah, anywho, sorry.
Well, I hope it's going well. Oh, and he only kills cheating men. Oh.
Ooh.
Well, it sounds like a very creepy story. It sounds like a very effective horror story. Like I could absolutely see this being a horror book.
And I will say, as a criminology major, it is actually realistic. That would be a very realistic story as well, because things like that have happened. So I think you got something good there.
It's terrifying.
Did you do any like serial killer profiling?
Huh?
Or as a criminology major, did you do like serial killer profiling and stuff as part of the
psychology.
major? Oh wow! Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was.
I need to do some more of that. Like as a thriller writer, I feel like I need some more of that.
Oh my gosh!
Because I'd love to understand it from a psychology perspective. Although, like, also at the same time, I always feel icky about like studying people that have done really horrible things and giving them the fame that they wanted by doing that.
It can be icky, but if you're thinking of doing something for in like the fictional context, and you have any questions, I'd be happy to talk about it because
yeah,
my parents
I'm gonna message you later.
my parents get freaked out by it. But no, yeah, but there's actually a lot of interesting things about it and behind it. And of course, none of it ever justifies what people do. It just helps you understand the why.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, but that
stuff freaks me out. Y'all are brave to dabble in that. I don't like it. When I had to write that short story, I felt like I was ripping my soul apart.
Well, my thing is that I think I've spent so long like studying it that when I actually go to write, I don't want to like live in that world. So I'm like, let's just shift this a little bit. But also I love this name, the Cookie Mario Kiwi. That's so cute.
It's a cute name.
Yeah, but you've definitely got something good there, and that is something that I think would turn out to be a really good story.
Yeah.
Ivory Rosa said, got 170 words, not that productive because I was eating. Hey, that's still very productive, especially for eating. I can never write and eat at the same time.
I try to, and then I just end up eating.
The only I struggle with reading and eating at the same time because like I have to take my eyes off the page to look at the food to make sure it gets into my mouth, and then I lose my spot and then I get all discombobulated. Bree said, not me getting into my cleaning, hearing you guys get talking and thinking someone broke into my house.
I love that.
We've come to take your dog. I'll get you, my pretty.
Your little dog too. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Bree's probably taking out her earplugs right now. Like, God, these freaking morons. Like,
these people text me all damn day. Now they're on the screen, hearing me.
I can never be rid of them.
Piper said, I mailed you a surprise in an envelope with a letter to your P.O. box. I don't have a P.O. box. That's very cute. Thank you so much for doing that. I don't know where you sent it because I don't have a P.O. box. If it's the address that was on my mailing list, I will still be able to get it. But it is an office building. Because I've always felt I have to get a PO box because I've always felt uncomfortable putting my real like living address on all of my emails because I send those out to people. But I will make sure I call somebody to keep an eye out for that for me.
Claire, that's really funny. I'm sorry.
That is really funny.
But that's so
Thank
sweet.
you so much. That's so sweet. Thank you.
I'm not trying to be rude, but like it was just funny how Claire was like, I don't have a PO box. Sorry. I'm rude.
No, thank you so much, Piper. That's really sweet of you. I will make sure to call them to make sure that they keep an eye out on that for me. I have to change. I have to get a PO box because my dad doesn't even work there anymore.
Oh boy.
Oh. I was just afraid when you said you didn't have a PO box. I was like, so is someone just gonna like open their thing one day and it's just gonna say for Claire? And I'm like, and that's so sad because then you'll never get it.
No, it was like my dad's old office place before he retired. So,
okay.
I like they'll still be able because when I was starting my mailing list, he was like, "Put this as the address because I don't want our personal addresses on the mailing list." But now that I'll figure it out. But thank you. I'm really, really touched.
Yeah, that's very kind.
And thank you so much, Ivory Roses, for pre-ordering They Whisper. That's very, very sweet of you too. I hope that you enjoy it once it comes out. I have been having the most giant headache about trying to get that book up for pre-order, the paperback. But for whatever reason, my files were flagged for manual review by Ingram Spark, and that has never happened to me before. And customer service is like, I have no idea why it was flagged for manual review, but it usually resolves itself within 15 business days. But I was like, I uploaded all of my ARC files because I was going to try to order my print ARCs through there. So they're not the final files of the book that I want to be sold. Like they have no acknowledgments. They have some typos. They have, it says not for sale in the first page. So I'll have to work that out. But I'm so happy you pre-ordered the ebook. Kendra said, I got no words putting out fires with moms in our homeschool group. Why can't we all just get along? Oh man, I was homeschooled until I went to college, and the amount of drama that happened in our homeschool community was outrageous. Like it was absolutely insane. There was just drama all the time. So I can only imagine what is going on, and I'm very sorry because I've definitely experienced that before.
I don't know.
And it's surprising how much drama is like within the mom community, and then it trickles down to the kids too. Like I had like moms that were like really, really not a fan of mine in high school just because like their moms got into something with my mom and like rumors like it was such a weird like small rumory community. I don't know. It's very bizarre.
Weird. That seems such an odd place for that to
right
for that to grow out of. Yeah, I don't know.
I was also like I understand like if you have some drama with someone else, but like don't take it out on their kids. Like that's just like super petty if the kids haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, everything from like taking purposefully bad pictures of them at prom to like, why are you doing that? That's just hurting the kid. That's not hurting the parents.
Right. Well, and like for an adult to do that to like a child, like anyone of like a younger age, like that's rude. That's so unnecessary. Like that was like a huge thing, like with dance moms, like not the TV show, but like actual dance moms are like, I can only imagine if they can like cut throat other people's children, and it's like they just want to dance, okay? They just want to have fun. Like kids are all about like the experience. They don't care about the trophy. Like they just want to have fun while they can, because then they're going to be an adult and life is going to be miserable because then they're going to have bills and they'll be just like you. So let them enjoy childhood while they can.
It's all the people who never left high school.
Yes.
That is my theory, is that all the people who are still mentally in high school are the kinds of people who stir up stupid drama like that.
Yeah. But I'm sorry you're going through that, Kendra. I hope you get through it safely, because it's not fun.
Yeah. Me too. Ivory Roses asked, how do you add length to your book? We have so many comments. We're going to have to start writing again, because otherwise we are going to spend the entire time chatting and not time writing, which I'm purposefully fine with, but I know a lot of people come to these because they want to. Right. But we can quickly answer this question and then we can hop into a sprint. So I'm an overwriter, so this always, I never have this issue because I always write too much and then I have to cut it back. But I would recommend, the reason that I'm an overwriter is because I create like complete arcs for my main plot, complete arcs for every single one of my subplots, and then thread them all together. So like I have a lot of things happening for all of the subplots, and like maybe they're very thorough arcs, and maybe those things don't necessarily have to happen to advance the subplot, or like you can advance it with a more condensed scene. So that's why I'm an overwriter. But if you're an underwriter, maybe you could try doing that, and like thinking of if you have a romantic subplot, you can think of like, there's a beginning, middle, and end, and like there are like little mini Act 1 climaxes and Act 2 climaxes and all these sorts of things within that subplot that you can add in to like make it a more fleshed out plot in your book. That's what I would recommend. What about you guys?
Well, so I won't say because I've never actually lengthened a novel before, so I don't have experience with that. So I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't provide any information, but I've never had to do that, so I don't have experience.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Autumn. I honestly just sort of listen to my story, and I kind of let it dictate how long or short it wants to be. So like how should I say this? Like where it feels right to stop, or if it feels right to keep going with something, it's just one of those things where it's like I kind of find out as I write, and then if it's long, it's long. If it's short, it's short. That's kind of just how I do things. But I've never had to go back and like add length to it. I've definitely had to shorten it, but I've never had to go back and really expand it. So, but Claire, I like, wow, it's backwards on here. I liked your suggestion about like the subplots and like making them have their own, 3-act structure essentially. So yeah, that's a good idea. I'll have to keep that in mind if I ever come to that issue.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, also Ivory Roses, like don't try to artificially lengthen the book if it doesn't feel like it really has to be like, I mean, if you feel that it's complete, don't just add filler scenes because you want it to be longer. Like, just tell the story that you want to tell and stop when you feel that it's told. So don't feel any pressure to artificially lengthen it if you don't feel that it's natural. All right, so how about we quickly, hi Javaria, thanks so much for stopping by and coming to write with us. We're just going to start our second sprint now. What length do we want to go?
I mean, I'm fine if we
Or how long do we want our sprint to be?
Till the end of time. No. I don't know. I'm fine with a longer one.
Yeah, if we want to do like maybe 20 or 25.
Do we want to do, because we've been chatting for a while, do we maybe want to do half, like, yeah, oh yeah, like, yeah, let's do 25.
Okay.
I will set the timer. I have to reset the timer and change the timer. Alrighty. Cool. So happy writing, happy sprinting, happy reading or productivity, everybody. And we will see you after the sprint. Okay.
Yay!
Oh, that was good. I'm so deep into this. This book is so good. I'm really, really enjoying this book. It's just so interesting. Like now, this guy has been talking about theme and like how there are like physical elements of the story, like the events of the story, and then like the invisible elements of the story, like the theme and the morals and the questions that the story poses, and how the characters have to answer this like invisible thematic question. And then like now he's just starting to put it together and saying, and he was saying something about how they're like the actual physical element of the story has to meet the invisible element of the story, because the physical climax event has to answer the major theme in some way, and like they both have to kind of meet together, and the audience is not going to be satisfied unless the audience gets an actual defined answer to this major theme that you've set up in the story without actually ever saying it. And I don't know, it's just really cool. Like he was talking about how every single story is kind of like, you know, you're having like spaghetti, and you've had spaghetti a million times with different like same kind of general tomato sauce whatever concoction, but like you usually probably have some spaghettis that were better than others. It's like the way that you combine the ingredients to get the end product. I don't know, it's interesting. It's like a new kind of thematic way to think about story. But how did you guys do in that sprint?
That's cool, Claire.
Thank you for letting me have my moment. I was excited.
Yeah. I love it. It makes me, every time like you're talking about it like more and more, I'm like, wow, I really just want to dive into this book because it seems like it's really beneficial.
It's interesting. It's just like, I don't know, it's making me think about it in a new way. And I think it's probably going to help my story, because now I'm like not thinking necessarily about the events of book 3, but I'm thinking about like what's the main thematic question and what's like the emotional payoff that I want readers to get by the end, and like how to kind of create the arc to give them emotional high and lows leading up to the climax, not just like, okay, what's going to happen next? So like starting with the thematic stuff and then moving into the events. So I don't know, it's an interesting way to think about it.
I like it. I love reading all different kinds of craft books and taking a little bit from each of them and applying it to your writing. Definitely. So I love that. Yeah. I'm still editing that video, and okay, so I'm kind of annoyed with myself because I was here, like it was a 40-minute video, but like I had broken it up into like sections, because like when I feel like I'm starting to stutter, or if I like take like a long pause, I'll just like cut the film, get water, take a walk, and then I'll like sit back down and then film like another half of it. So I was just trying to edit it as I went, just kind of quickly, as quickly as you can when it takes you 6 hours. But I didn't realize that I guess I didn't like everything that I had filmed the first time. So I refilmed everything a second time. So I put all the clips in here, but I just realized that everything that I've been trying to like cut was the segments that I didn't want. So now I'm like, oh great, now I get to listen to myself stutter over words again for a second or third time. So that's my life right now. So now I'm trying to debate if I should just listen to the last half and figure out if I like that part better than what I've already cut. And then if I think I need to edit that part, then I'll just cut out all the work that I just did.
I find it so hard, like watching or listening back to my own videos, like having to kind of go through them and proofread them, because like I said the video and I recording it, or when I recorded it, and then I had to listen to myself when I edited the video, and now I have to listen to myself again, and I'm like so sick of hearing myself talk that it's really hard for me to pay attention enough to catch the little mistakes that I make.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Or like to make sure that it like flows and like what you're trying to actually say is
exactly
what actually is what's said. So I'm like, wait, okay, beginning, middle, and end. Does this make sense? So that's my struggle.
It's an honest struggle.
You know, when you think you're being good and you're trying to edit a video to publish it early, but then you just wasted 2 hours. It kind of eats your soul away a little bit, but it's fine.
It's all part of the process.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Exactly. Hi. Sorry, I've got a cat on my lap. She's in her I want all the love and attention, and if you do not give it to me, I will eat you mood. So that was got a little distracting there in that sprint. But no, I'm still working on this same chapter, and I just am like, this is one of those chapters where I'm like, it kind of just keeps going and going, and I'm like, I don't know where this is gonna end. Not in like a bad way, but it's just one of those, like sometimes you write a chapter and you're like, all right, this is a good stopping point. But in this chapter, I'm like, oh, but I want to do this too. So I've just been like going and going and going, and I'm like, I don't know if I should end this and break this up into another one or just keep the ball rolling. I don't know.
You can always edit the chapter later.
That's true, though I do suck at editing. So it's funny. I love editing videos. Don't like editing books.
Hey, two different kind of creativity parts of your I don't know if it's different parts of your brain, but it's different gears.
Yeah. Well, my problem is that like I feel like when it comes to editing, even after the first draft, I need someone else to look at it, because my problem with editing is that I go through it and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. And so I will delete a bunch of stuff and then add a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, I really didn't need to do that. Because then I'll go through on the next edit and I'll read it and I'll be like, what the heck was I thinking? So I don't know. Editing is one of those things where it's like, I feel like I just need a second set of eyes to tell me, or some voice of reason to be like, hey, maybe don't delete that. Like, you might want that later.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. It feels weird to ask someone to look at just like the first draft because it's like just word vomit. But
well, I mean, that is what a critique partner is for. I mean, they're supposed to be brutally honest and give you some good advice. So it might help to just share it with someone like you trust that also kind of writes in that same genre. And just be like, hey, I know this is super messy, but like, I really just need someone to tell me if this makes sense. And then hopefully they'll be honest and then give you an honest opinion, whether you may need to change a few things, or if what you have is fine for like the next draft of where you want to go. I know it's so hard sharing your work and then finding someone to trust to share your work and to give you the honest feedback. So I feel like that could also be like the hardest part, is finding that person to share it with, for the good quality feedback. Because like, of course, you can always share it with your mom, and your mom loves everything you write.
I know. My mom is not gonna. Well, that's why I was saying, I was like, this is why I'm gonna write these books and then just immediately take the first draft to my Meemaw, because she'll look at it, and she was a teacher, so she'll look at it and she'll be like, oh, this is nice, but let me point out every single wrong thing you did throughout this entire story.
Right.
So if there's anyone I trust to do that, it's Meemaw.
Right. So I do think that like it's totally fine if you wanted to share it with like a critique partner, an early draft. That's what they're there for. You don't have to share it with 15 zillion people, but just having that one person to ping pong ideas off of would, I think, help you with what you're struggling with right now. I think that would really help.
No, definitely. Yeah. Just having that second set of eyes, I feel like would be good. And I feel like that would have been really useful for Hades and Persephone, because I think I've just messed that story up to the point where I feel like I have to go back and start it again, which stinks.
When you start like a new draft, like when you're trying to start editing, do you keep your original draft? So like, could you always go back to the very original draft that you had? Or like when you say like you delete things, do you delete them forever?
I do not delete them forever. If there's a chunk that I'm not ready to part with, what I'll do is I'll copy and paste it into a separate document.
Okay.
But I do end up, well, with Hades and Persephone, the fourth draft, I made it a completely different document. The other three, I all edited on the same document. So the original draft is, I think, long gone. Hi, Salem. And yeah, but no, that would actually have come in very handy. But I was in this weird mindset of like, you're not supposed to share with people until you hit the time in which you're supposed to publish, which is not true. And learned that the hard way. So thank you, Autumn, for your advice.
Of course. I mean, it's not expert advice, but it's what I would like to do.
Right. No, but
I've kind of done.
But it's a very good idea. And I think having a critique partner or someone who can kind of be there from the beginning and see draft one and how it progresses, I think would be probably a good idea.
Right. Well, and that's like one of the I feel like it's like those, you know, conspiracy theories about like writers where it's so isolated and it's just you sitting in your dark basement and you're not allowed to like see anybody until that final draft is ready to go. But it's so not true, because you need help. You need someone to confide in, because there's only so much that like you can do on your own. Because like when I was talking to my critique partner about like my previous project, there was something that I couldn't get past, but she literally just asked me one question. It was just like a basic, simple question. It's like, well, why does this happen? And I'm like, that was what I needed.
Yeah.
Is someone to ask me it wasn't a very specific question, but it was a question that like I kept avoiding for myself because I was only trying to confide in myself. But if you find that other person to just, you know, ask you, it could just be that one simple question as to like, well, why? Or like, this doesn't make sense. And that's all you need. And it puts you right back on the right rails. So
yeah.
I
No,
recommend it.
yeah, it definitely does sound like a good idea. I will start looking into that for sure. I don't know. I feel like too, because you get so tired, because I mean, you're the one who wrote it. So when it comes to editing, it's like, okay, well, I already know what all this is. I don't know. I just feel like looking at it with tired eyes is not the way to do it.
Yeah. And
that happened to me
too,
with the.
Oh, go ahead, Claire. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's okay.
I was just going to say, and sometimes taking a break from that project, which I think you have taken a break from your Hades and Persephone, because I believe you're working on one or two other projects. So that can always help too. And then go back to it after working on something else when your writing has grown and you've kind of understood your process a little bit more. So like you could go back to Hades and Persephone and be like, dude, I got this. And then you can, you know, finish it and find where maybe those plot holes, or maybe you thought that you put yourself, you know, in the wrong direction, but really maybe it was just one or two things that needed to be changed. And then you fixed it. You fixed it on your own. So that could be, there's so many different ways of how it can turn out, but that could be, it could be that easy as to fix it. But writing is so hard.
It is. People who like sit or tell me like, oh, writing, that's easy. I'm like, aha! You haven't written anything but school essays, have you?
Right. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
At least not in this novel-y form that we're discussing.
Yeah, no, not in the novel form.
Yeah. No, and also like sending out early drafts is so helpful too. Like I used to be so worried before sending out my early drafts to beta readers or critique partners, because I'd want them to be like perfect before anybody else looked at them. But like with this book that I just finished, like I was in such a big sticking point with it. And I decided to like send my second draft that I knew was really rough. I was like, I don't really like this. It's like, it's kind of all over the place, but I don't really know what I don't like about it yet. And just sending it out to beta readers and having that feedback from them was able to like completely change the way that I looked at it, and like made me rewrite everything and restructure everything. And I rewrote the book from scratch after that, but it made me figure out like what it was about it that I didn't like. And if I hadn't sent it out to them, and if I'd been like worried about it and like perfectionistic about the manuscript, then I wouldn't have been able to get that feedback too. So I'm definitely trying to push myself to send out early drafts more, even though like I feel bad because my beta readers have to go through some pretty messy drafts, but I send them all paperback or like hardcover copies of the book afterwards as a thank you, even though it's like a completely different book now. But yeah, I always feel bad because I'm like, I know that this isn't good. Like, I know that it's messy. I know there are typos everywhere. I know this character isn't likable. I know that this relationship isn't working, but here you go.
Yes. Well, and I love that too, like to have those people that are so willing to see the story throughout before it's finally published. And a lot of people really do enjoy seeing the early drafts because they like to be part of the process and they like to be part of your writing journey. And especially if you can find the people that give like the really strong feedback that's going to help push the story forward. I mean, and that's amazing. And I feel like for them, it would be rewarding to see like, you know, maybe Claire, when she said that she sent out kind of messy drafts of stuff before to her beta readers, but then they get that final copy. Like, to me, that would be so satisfying to be that kind of, you know, that reader and be like, oh, I was able to see like the first parts of this and then to give her my feedback. So I feel like for them too, it is rewarding.
Yeah, and then if you put them in the acknowledgments, and they can be like, yes, I was a part of this too, because they were. Like, it's such an important part of the process.
It is.
I'm so grateful to everybody who's willing to bear with my messy drafts, because like I was able to make it 10 times better than it was before sending it to them.
Exactly. 100%. I love it. I agree with everything that we just stated.
I'll definitely have to start looking into that for sure.
Yeah.
Misha is new. Hi, Misha. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thank you for checking out the sprints too, if this is your first time here. Came in at the last 5 minutes of the sprint, so I took the moment to stand up and move around a bit. Nice. Awesome. I probably need to do that a little bit next sprint. I'm like getting a little stiff from sitting.
It's very important.
Kendra said 643 words. I feel better now that there are words on the page. Awesome. Very cool. It's always so satisfying. Like, I always get so stressed out when I see like a totally blank page. And then as soon as there's like a little chunk of text, you're like, okay, I'm in the middle of the scene now. Even if it's just a couple paragraphs at the beginning, it makes it feel so much easier to write.
Yeah,
definitely.
Piper asked, is 63 pages enough for a book? I don't think so. I mean, it depends on your spacing. I guess if it's like 63 pages single spaced and maybe like over 100 not single spaced, I think that I remember submitting Stay because I'm booking a couple promotions because I'm having a free sale in a couple of weeks. So I'm just like booking a couple promotional like newsletter things to promote that. And one of the websites said that your book had to be over 100 pages because anything under 100 pages on the Kindle store, they didn't count as a book. So I think it depends on the spacing. And I also think that maybe 100 pages is maybe more of a novella because I don't know. I know that I'm pretty sure They Whisper, which is around, it's 103,000 words. And when it's all formatted, it's 360 pages. So then you're probably like close to the 30,000 words mark, which I think is a novella, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think like pages, it's so hard to go by with pages. Like,
yeah, I only count words.
Yeah. And I think that's more of like what matters, like for genres too. Like high fantasy is X amount of words, not so much like number of pages, but like, like what Claire said too, is it just depends on like spacing, your font, and like the size of your letters.
Piper also said, Maddie, your cat looks just like mine.
You have a little black cat too.
Oh,
she's my sweet little middle child. So I don't know. She's my baby. I love her. She's so cute. She does not want to be on camera though, apparently. Hi. Oh, now she's just leaving. Okay, bye, Salem. Get in my face and then just leave me. I see how it is.
Frankie's sci-fi obsession says, hello, all new subscriber popping in for the first time. Hi, Frankie. Thanks so much for coming, and thank you for subscribing. If for everybody who's new and popping in, we're doing writing sprints where we set a timer and we either write for that time or read for that time, or edit YouTube videos for that time, or anything that we want, and then we chat afterwards, and then we do another one. It's a nice like little productivity session and also a fun hangout session. Yeah. So how are we feeling about, maybe do we want to start another sprint?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. How long do we want to go for? Do we want to do like maybe 2 more sprints, or do we want to do like, how long are we thinking of going?
Yeah, I'm definitely fine if we want to do 2 more sprints. Did we do 20 or 25 last time?
I think we did 25 last time.
Okay. Did you want to do one around 25 minutes again?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
All righty. I will reset the timer.
Oh, look at that. So simple.
I know. So easy. Oh, and hi, Piper. Thanks so much for coming and writing with us. It's so good to see you here. All right. Yeah. So happy writing, everybody. Happy productivity. We will see you after the sprint. Alrighty.
Yay!
Hey, love it.
How'd you guys do?
Good. I took a snack break. I refilled my water, kind of walked around for a minute, and then I am watching like that second half of that poor vlog. But all I did was just watch it. I didn't make edits. So we'll see what happens. I think I have like 3 minutes left of watching it. So we'll
nice.
finish it and then figure out what we want to do with life.
I think I have reached the end of this chapter.
Yay!
I think I have like this one line of dialogue that one of my main characters says, and it just was one of those words, like I wrote it and I was like, you know what, this feels like a good place to pause, because God, I love these characters so much, but I need to move on to the next chapter.
Definitely. I love that.
So, not that we won't see them in the next chapter. I mean, they're the two main characters, but it's like, you know, it's one of those things. I don't know. I just feel like it's a good place to end it. So I get to now add it to my this guy.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
but I do have to show off this because I'm very happy about this. Look at all the red I filled in.
Oh wow.
That's awesome. Is it red when you finish the chapter? Do you
Mhm.
color it in? That's awesome.
Yeah. That's my little tracker thing. So I that was the first time I had like a completed spread in this. So I was like, oh, so happy. But I didn't want to like post it on anything because it also has literally every single spoiler you can possibly want in here. So
That is so satisfying.
it is. It's so nice to look at. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I found they have an outline in this book where it's like kind of a story structure, but for the theme, and like talking about like, you know, instead of like a beginning, middle, and end, there's like, you know, the setup of like why readers should care, and then it builds into like introducing the minor theme and then defining the major theme and then answering the questions and then having the opposite thing happen and then re-answering the questions, and like that is kind of an outline that they provide in the book. So now I'm kind of interested in maybe trying to outline my book in accordance to the theme outline as well as like the actual tangible plot outline, because I don't know, I'm going to think a little bit more about different ways that I can add different plot points and create my own outline for theme, because now I'm just like so jazzed about theme. This book is going to have so much theme in it. Like, I guess I'm going to outline all that first now, probably. I don't know. I'm forcing myself to finish reading this book before starting my outline for book 3. So I think coming right off of reading this, it's going to have a lot of theme.
That's awesome. I like that.
Kendra said, oh, so close, 499 words. It still counts.
Yep.
You got 500.
Yeah. We're rounding up.
Exactly. Especially when it's that close.
Oh, yeah.
Frankie Sci-Fi Obsession got 512 words. Awesome.
Oh,
That's
nice.
so cool.
Nice.
Congratulations. Everybody's being so productive today.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think maybe if we do one more sprint after this, and then we can call it a morning and go enjoy our weekends.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds good.
Do we want to start right now, or do we want to take more of a break?
I'm fine with either. I'm fine with whatever we want to do.
I am also in agreement with that previous statement.
Media attorney got 370 words, lots of editing. That's a huge word count for editing.
Yeah.
It's so hard to count words when you're editing. I always struggle with that.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to do 20 minutes this time?
Sure. Perfect.
All right. Awesome. I have to change it now and dive into the settings.
More than just one click.
I know, unfortunately, it's so much work. My hand is hurting. All right.
Struggle.
I'm going to start the timer. Happy writing, productivity, sprinting, everything, everybody. And we will see you after this sprint, our final sprint. So get all those words done. Okay.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh man, that was really fun. I got so kind of tired of reading because I've been reading for the past like 2.5 hours. So I finished Act 1 of the book, so I'm halfway done now. And then I spent the last like 15 minutes just kind of going through some of the notes that I was taking and an outline and poking around trying to think of how this is going to affect my story, which is always exciting. But it's always so complicated when you're trying to think of like what is this character's role in the story, and like how does their personal emotional growth actually contribute to the defeat of the villain, and like trying to fit it all together like a puzzle. It's a little confusing, but I don't know. It's interesting to think about. It'll be something to play in the back of my mind for a little while.
I love that. I love that book has helped so much and has kind of made you see some things through a different lens. And I like hearing about it.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like an ad for this book. I'm like, I promise I'm not sponsored by Dynamics Story Creation. But
I love it.
No, it's so good. I like all the information.
Agreed.
What did you guys do?
So I ended up watching the rest of that video, and then I think what I'm going to do is just like take like bits and pieces of like kind of both the first time I filmed it and then the second time, because there are some things that I say in the second one that like I like, so I want to include it in like the whole vlog. So I'm just gonna listen to it a third time, and then cut, and then put everything together.
Nice. That's awesome. It's really productive. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
You're close to the end. You're a lot closer to the end.
Oh, yes. Hopefully I can finish it in like a couple of hours and then just be done.
You can. I have faith in you.
Thank you. I want to check something off of my list. This list has not changed.
You'll be able to check it off. There'll be a big old, I don't know, what color pen do you have?
It's just regular black.
Oh, I was about to say, find like the prettiest, most fun color you have and just go.
I know. I have all of these, so I'll have to pick one. It's always this. Which green?
Oh, no, I just said do it.
Oh, I think you said color. I thought you said
No. I just said do it. And then I was going to say it in my Palpatine voice, but then I was like, maybe I won't.
There's no judgment here.
Do it.
Yes.
Sorry. Also, is that a mason jar mug?
Yes.
I love that so much. It's ceramic though, right?
Pardon?
Is it ceramic or is it a painted mason jar?
It's glass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so fun.
That's really pretty.
I stole it from my mom.
They always have the best mugs.
Yeah. Well, okay, so she had a set of 8 and they were all different colors, but she never used them. So I was like, hey bro, I'm moving out. Can I take some of those? And then she was like, you can take half, okay, but not the colors I want. And so I'm so happy that like she was okay with me taking this color because I love this color.
I was about to say, if she's got any other that she doesn't use, wink, wink.
Right. I'll
send it over, Mama Ashleigh.
I'll send them to you.
Everybody in the comment section, how did you guys accomplish your goals? How many words did you get done? This is our last sprint, so I think we're going to be done with our sprinting for the day. So, if you are interested in coming back and writing and doing more sprints, I cannot guarantee when I'm going to be doing my next one before all of these. I mean, unless you are enjoying this setup here. I mean, there was a little bit of lag, but it did hold together, which I'm so happy. Every single time the little buffering thing happened, I was knocking on wood. I was like, please hold on. But it did. But yeah, I mean, I can keep trying to do these. If it was super annoying to watch all of the buffering, then maybe I will wait until I'm back in a place with more consistent Wi-Fi. But, I'll keep everyone posted. Maybe I'll schedule one, and I have to reschedule with Sarah. Maybe I'll reschedule that one and sit here because this seemed to work out pretty good. But we'll see. It's always an adventure.
Oh, yes. I'm here for the adventures.
The adventure is the best part.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It's just like, keeps you on your toes. Like, are you going to be able to see anybody on the sprint? Maybe not. Is the screen going to go black for no reason? Maybe. Got to appreciate every moment.
Well, it made me think of there's a Jack Sparrow line in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I think it might be the fourth one, which we can all agree is probably the worst one. But there's a line that he says where he says, "It's not so much of the destination, the journey," they say. So whenever I think of that, I'm like, yeah, it's about the journey. I'm just my Jack Sparrow voice.
I love it.
Yes. Well, everybody who came, thank you so much for coming and writing with us. Autumn and Maddie, do you want to tell them all where they can find you? I'm pretty sure I linked your channels in the description of this video. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Autumn Ashleigh. I do YouTube. I'm more active on YouTube and Instagram than Twitter, but I do have a Twitter, but it's there floating in space. But I'm currently just writing, trying to one day get published. And I'm sharing my writing journey on YouTube. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would love to have you join me on my journey because it's a wild one.
It's a fun one too. And I guess once again, I'm Madeline Monaghan. Y'all can find me here on the tubes of you. You can also find me on the grams of Insta and I guess this doesn't work on the talk of Tick. Basically, my 3 realms that I normally live in are YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Honestly, my TikTok is so all over the place though, so it's not like it's anything fun. I just have fun making videos over there. But yeah, kind of the same as my wonderful friends here. I'm just here to share my writing journey and in hopes of either publishing myself or being traditionally published one day. And I am also showing off my cats along the way. So if y'all love cute little sweet kitty cats, you'll definitely find them on my channel and on my Instagram and on my everything, honestly. Crazy cat mom. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Yeah, everybody go follow Autumn and Maddie. They both make such amazing content. And yeah, I will see you all very soon. Thank you all for coming and writing with us. Bye, everybody.